peace.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy.
And you want some? Come get some.
You've tuned in to Wrestling with Ruben.
Ruben, take it away.
Brandi, how are you?
Good, how's it going?
Going good. Man, a lot's changed since I last saw you in Long Beach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, life can come at you fast, huh?
Yeah, well, you tell me. Let's talk about this. Real quick, let me introduce who I'm speaking to. For those who are listening right now and have no idea who I'm talking to, first of all, I think you need to get out under the rock that you're under. Please welcome to the show the Chief Brandi Officer of All Elite Wrestling, Brandi Rhodes. Brandi, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Ruben, you got that shirt? You said Chief Brandi Officer, so I think you need a shirt.
Where can I buy the shirt?
They're at Pro Wrestling Tees, yeah.
ProWrestlingTees.com. All right, well, I'll make sure that I get myself I want all the AEW official merchandise. You guys have the coolest branding out there right now. I love the logo. I love the look I love the colors, and I love the production that we've seen so far. So before we jump into this, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you and Cody and the Bucks and the Khan family for getting this started. How do you feel? It's been about a week since you guys announced Double or Nothing and really kickstarted this thing. How are you feeling now?
Oh, I'm feeling great. It's still kind of like a dream realized here, but I'll tell you, I have never been as busy as I am right now. So I like fully have the do not disturb kind of on my phone for when I'm driving, because every time I park my car, I've got at least like 20 text messages and 20 new emails. So it's definitely if anybody's curious as to whether or not my job is real and I'm really doing the work here, I'm doing it for sure.
Well, and that was one of the questions was, what exactly are you doing for AEW? Because Chief Branding Officer or Chief Brand Officer, or what we're calling it, Chief Brandi Officer, a lot of people don't understand what that title is. I mean, I think really once you get to that C-level, executiveness, you never really know what they're really doing. So could you real briefly tell people what falls under your title of Chief Brand Officer, and what are some of your duties day to day with All Elite Wrestling and what you handle?
Yeah, so people shouldn't feel too bad if they don't know what a CBO does, because it's actually a very new position in a lot of corporate companies these days. So it's not one that you should feel like you know exactly what it is. And it was funny when I got the role offer, I kind of was like, I guarantee you nobody's going to know what I'm doing, or they're not going to really understand it. So, yeah, I'm happy to explain. So the CBO role in our company, and again, it's a newer role, so it's specific to the company as far as what they want to do. Some could do more responsibilities than some, but in our case, my role is mainly going to fall under like partnerships, community outreach, things of that nature, as well as some marketing, which is shared with another department for me, and some PR and media work. Thankfully, I have a lot of really awesome resources that are already in place and helping me with a lot of great stuff. For instance, Mandy, who's here on the call, she just kind of fell right in my lap, which is amazing. So a lot of release to me from the beginning, as in, a complete startup where there would be nobody and I'd be figuring everything out on my own. But on like the partnership and outreach and of course working in charity work and all of that stuff, that is going to be most of my main focus. And we're just wanting to make sure that when people think of the name AEW, they know exactly what we stand for, what we mean when we are out there and in the public. So it's going to be a lot of shaping of relationships, which I'm really, really comfortable with, and I like people, so it should be a spot-on role for me.
Well, I will say this. We got a chance to talk briefly in Long Beach for the New Japan Wrestling show, and back then I asked you, hey, what's your plans? What's yours and Cody's plans? And I asked if you plan on going back to WWE or maybe doing something else. And you kind of smiled at me and said, well, I'm willing to go wherever Cody's going to go, and that was kind of where we ended things.
Did I say that?
I
feel like I might have been drugged to say that. I usually never say I ever want to go do anything that Cody wants to do, because Cody has some wild ideas. You gotta know what you're getting into when you say stuff like that.
Well, maybe you either knew what was going on, or maybe I'm misquoting you, which is possible. It's been a couple months since the last time you and I.
I'm totally messing with you. I probably did say that, which is safe to say.
Hey,
but yeah, no, that's.
I want to know, how long has this been in the works?
Ahead,
did you know about this back when we talked in, I think it was October or November when you guys were in Long Beach? Did you know back then that this was a possibility?
Not at all. Not even kind of. So that just goes to show that I'm a good and faithful partner to Cody.
Hey.
But yeah, I think in saying stuff like that, a lot of times, I've been on this life roller coaster with Cody for some time now, and when it comes to the wrestling business, he just knows what he's doing. There have been a few times where he said, hey, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to try this, and I just need you to trust me. And after the first or second time of him doing these things, and then them completely panning out and actually going way better than anticipated, I kind of am comfortable, just saying, okay, yeah, I'll let you take the wheel on this one, because this does not make sense to me, but you've got the eye and the brain for this. So we'll go this direction. And usually a lot of times I just provide complete support in those situations. But this is not to say that Cody is a genius, because I feel like he'll hear this interview and then he'll think I've given him the go ahead to that he's a full genius and that he can run the relationship. And that's not the case. I'm still the boss.
Yeah, you got to keep him in check. keep him in check for us. Well, awesome. Well, so I went online because I have a ton of questions for you personally, but I really want to know what other people want to know as well, because this is such a new endeavor. We haven't seen something like this probably since the announcement of Nitro coming to TNT back in '95. Even with TNA having possibilities, we haven't seen this much excitement for wrestling in well over 20 years. So I wanted to go and I wanted to hit up some of the wrestling forums, hit up online, and I had over 100 responses of questions, and we're very limited on time. So I do want to jump into some fan questions here if you're willing to take them. But the overall theme of the questions I got was very simple. What is AEW? Like, what's the vision for All Elite Wrestling? If you guys even have that figured out yet, because visions can change from day to day. So what's the vision currently for AEW?
It's actually kind of easy to figure out what our vision is. Basically, it's to bring the much needed, I guess, alternative to wrestling, to this amazing fan base that's developed over time and continues to develop. And we really want to be fan-centered in that sense. I think a lot of times when people only have one option, they really just get what they get, and that's not always fair. It's sometimes you want to have a little, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what it is that Cody says when he's a buffet. That's what he likes to say.
Buffet.
Sometimes you want to have a buffet. Sometimes you want to nibble on a little bit of pizza and then get some macaroni and cheese. And you want to go up to the ice cream bar. I feel like wrestling should be the same way. You shouldn't have to have meatloaf if you don't want meatloaf, So we're wanting to be that alternative. And we're also wanting to showcase the best wrestling in the world. There's a ton of wrestling talent. Like, wrestling has gone through a complete renaissance. It is definitely in a growth phase for sure. And there's so much untapped talent, as well as talent that we all know and love. So we wanted to bring that out and offer this to our fan base.
Now, here's one of the things that I find interesting about this. It was about 4 years ago, Jeff Jarrett tried announcing Global Force Wrestling and tried doing this, this idea, of launching a true alternative. And a lot of people got excited about it. A lot of people said, oh, it's just another indie company getting started. And I think you guys were briefly involved with Global Force Wrestling. I don't remember if it was just because you guys were an Impact at the time, or if it was because you guys were actually working with Jeff. But what makes now a better time to launch a wrestling company than 4 years ago when Jeff tried doing it?
I don't think it's really about timing as much as it is about what is available. And this is the first time in a very long time that there have been a chunk of top tier talent available that didn't go the normal route, that all decided to stick together and see something else through. That is kind of the recipe right now. It's never happened. I mean, unless, I'm missing a time or I'm not thinking of something. But that is, I think, what really excited people. And that's what's really kind of gotten them to stick by us on this, and that the kind of sense of community that they've seen in this already, they feel like they're a part of that community, and they absolutely should, because they're welcome. So we're really just, I guess, a good group, a good core crew of people, and the reality is the reality on it. It's not a crew of people that don't actually hang out together. We're all very much friends and very much care about each other's lives, and we're together most of the time. So it's kind of that family dynamic with some of people's favorite wrestlers.
Awesome. Robert Paxton over at Cult of Kayfabe on Facebook wants to know, he has two questions. He says, will AEW tour for live events or just for pay-per-views? And then also, will TV be touring like the WWE, or will you be taping from like a set location every week, like Full Sail NXT type of a deal?
What's this guy's name?
Robert Paxton.
That asked this question? Robert. Yeah. Robert thinks he's slick. I see Robert. I see what he's doing. He's trying to get me to answer stuff that I can't. But I'll answer what I can from Robert is that the scope for things are open-minded. Okay. So I wouldn't want to say give you guys any set thing and then that may change. The idea is to get rolling with everything. We start with Double or Nothing, obviously, in May, and we have some plans going forward from there. But we're going to treat every single event like it's the most important thing in the world. So I guess you kind of have to wait and see how the rollout continues to happen after that. But I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed with what we have in store.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially fans, and this is my message to fans, and maybe you can tag along with this or not, but I feel like fans are too interested in the business side of what's going on with AEW, as opposed to like, I just want to watch the product. As a fan, just watch the show and come along for the ride of the show. Don't worry about the TV deals. Don't worry about how much money is being spent on talent or how much is not being spent on talent, or what type of distribution model you guys are going to have. Because I personally believe, and I wrote an article about this recently, and I said, I don't think AEW needs a TV deal right out the gate to be successful or to grow long term. I think you guys can do a couple shows a year, that are big pay-per-view shows, and stream some stuff and do some YouTube stuff and focus on building the brand and building a fan base before worrying about a TV deal. What say you about the necessity of having a TV deal out the start, and fans worrying too much about the business aspect of it, as opposed to just being fans and just turning on the TV or logging onto an app and watching whatever you guys present to us?
Well, I think you did have a really important message there in saying that, sometimes fans are a little too concerned about the business end of things. And, I see that two ways. It's one thing, you want to, be an informed consumer. If you're spending your time and your money and, you're watching and you're finding out, things about a certain product are not to your liking, or you're against certain views or whatever. I do understand wanting to be educated about certain things and knowing kind of where you're putting your money for something. But in the same sense, I feel like as people in entertainment as a whole, we tend to do this and kind of put some things under a magnifying glass that we shouldn't, and then it kind of ruins it for us. Like, I like horror movies. I'm a huge horror buff, and I love just to consume as much of that as I possibly can. And honestly, if I went into each production on everything and looked into the background on this and tried to find out, who was the, person who did this and who got into an argument with whom and all of that, I think I would miss the movie, Yeah. I think I would just really kind of take it away from me, something that I may have enjoyed if I had just relaxed and watched the movie. So I definitely can see both sides on that, but I would encourage people to just kind of enjoy the ride on this one a little bit. We as people also have this thing, I like to say, we talk ourselves through our fears. And I think the internet is a great place for that sometimes, where, you're worried about something. And if my worry is, I think I'm going to like this, but I don't know if it's going to succeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk my way through it, and I'm going to say everything that could possibly go wrong. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just you're worrying yourself, causing wrinkles in your forehead that would be there. It's just relax and let people handle it. So we've got everything under control. We're doing really great right now. Everything's looking good from a business standpoint. We're very happy. So no need to stress or worry. And it's really true to our group and what we like to do. We roll out our information kind of one thing at a time to keep people excited as we roll up to different events and different, things we have planned. So that's just kind of the way we're going to keep going with everything. We're always just going to we use, being the elite a lot, and we use our own YouTube channels and our social media to deliver information. And those are the places to kind of stay connected to, and you won't miss a beat, I promise.
So I'm going to give you the floor right now. And, if you would like to, announce something, maybe a TV deal or distribution deal or, or plug your social media channels or, Double or Nothing or something, whatever you want to tell fans, because I do feel like I wish, we got to do this again in a couple of weeks just to kind of follow up, because there's so much I want to dive into with this, especially with you as somebody who's going to be overseeing, a lot of the exterior relationships with different companies, different brands, and different organizations. So if there's anything you want to tell your fans right now, again, if you want to announce a TV deal, you can. It would be great for my numbers if you did, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I understand. But go ahead, take the floor here.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't really have anything. Unfortunately, today is kind of a boring Tuesday. I've just got the usual work emails coming in and out. But what I can say is, we're ramping up for Double or Nothing. And if you remember kind of how things were with All In, the way that we had our rollouts of announcements and talent and different things that were happening with that show, we're in the thick of it now. So at any point in time, on any of those social sites or all of the above, you are going to have information just coming at you. So I would say stay tuned. If you're not following the All Elite Wrestling sites on, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, get following so that you know what's happening when it's happening. Also, I retweet and repost everything, so you can follow me if you want to. Be Brandi Rhodes on both Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, we've got a lot coming out, and I know that this doesn't quite, scratch your itch of what you were trying to get from me today, and I can't do it, so I'm sorry. But everything in good time. So hopefully, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some stuff that's really cool, and we'll just keep it rolling all the way through.
Good things come to those who wait. So wrestling fans, please just be patient. Just a little bit more patient. Do you guys happen to have an on sale date for Double or Nothing tickets yet? Because I need to get my tickets to this one. It's driving distance, so I have to be there. So I need to know when tickets are going to be available. Do you happen to know that?
We do, but we have not been public with it yet. So, but we're going to be soon. Okay. So don't worry. You will have plenty of time. We will let you know when that's going to be happening. So you're going to have plenty of time to hopefully do what everybody did last year with All In and just sit manning a bunch of computers, because that was what the case was last year. I remember I called my best friend and she was wanting tickets, and I said, well, hey, I think you need to get on a computer because I think this thing is going to go really quick. And she said, "Oh, I'm at one computer, my mom is at the other, and my husband is at the other. We're going to get some tickets." And they did. They got one of them got tickets. It was great.
Can I just Venmo you the ticket prices now, and you can just reserve them for me later? Is that a possibility?
I wouldn't trust me. I wouldn't trust me because I tried with All In as well. I tried on my computer, and I never got out of the online waiting room. So had I been a fan, I would not have gotten a ticket. I would have been one of those.
Well, Double or Nothing, May 25th from the MGM in Las Vegas, Nevada. Brandi, thank you so much for doing this, and we will talk soon. Congratulations again.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All righty. Bye-bye.